Yes, it's me. Hey, everybody. I haven't seen you guys in about a week now. I'm back. Yes, back from Vegas. Man, it's hot in that desert. It is hot in that desert. But guess what? I had a good time. I did a little bit of business and I did a little bit of pleasure. Yes. And guess what? We are going to be in Vegas for the Distinguished Authors Guild. Yes, November 9th, you guys. Prepare. It's going to be awesome. But you know what? We've been away for a bit, but we came back with a very, very strong topic. Something that just have to be discussed. And we've touched on this subject a few times, but it hasn't stopped. It hasn't slowed down. And so we're bringing this topic back so that we could touch on it a little bit more and dive a little bit deeper. So we want you guys to give your input. We want you guys to talk about this subject and tell us how you feel. You know, that if you think about it, we did a little bit of research. And based on the research, the U.S. had at least 314, again, 314 mass shootings in 2022. Y'all, we just halfway through the year. We're only halfway through the year. And we're talking 314 mass shootings. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about a few things. You know, do you feel safe going to different places? You know, is this something that we have to live with? Is this our norm? And even when we go out in public, how do we protect ourselves? So we're going to talk about that. But first and foremost, I'm going to bring my family on. Let's start with Mo B. Mo.
What's happening, family? You've been gone for a minute.
Yes, Mo.
That's all right.
Mo, look at the skin, Mo.
That's good. I see you got sunshine on your face, girl.
Yes. That sun, I'm telling you, Mo, it ain't no joke out there.
That's the zone. There ain't no joke. You right about that.
Yes, let's bring on our next family. Life coach.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's good?
Jeff, how's it going, Jeff?
Going pretty good, man. I can't complain. What about y'all? Y'all looking good out here.
Thank you. Y'all
Feeling
looking
better.
good too. I missed y'all.
Yeah,
I really missed y'all. I did.
I know you tried to check in that one night. Yeah.
I tried. You know, the internet wasn't that good.
I'm going to ask you this question. You got to tell me the truth. Did you throw them dice or gamble some of them things?
I did. On the day before, the day I was leaving, I don't gamble. But we did get on the blackjack table.
Okay.
And I bet $10. I won $80. And then I started losing and I stopped at $20.
There you go.
Okay. So
you doubled it.
You came up with 60. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get him my money. Yeah. I'm just not gonna do it.
And you know it's so crazy. I go to the horse track every year, 2 times a year. Okay. And I do, I work there. So, I'm keeping the ATM network kicking. And everybody, I've been doing that for 20 years going to that track. And I have never, ever, ever, ever bet on a horse.
There you go. Yeah. I remember you were there and I told you to bet on, I forgot, Lucky 7.
You said something kind of lame. I said, I don't see that on the schedule. I didn't see that on the race ticket. I said, some kind of lame something. I don't know what it was.
But no, I don't do much gambling. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Yeah,
you won 60 out of that. You should have roll on.
Yeah,
but better than losing it to the house.
Yeah, as long as I was ahead of what I played, I'm never gonna go under. I'll break even before I go under.
There you go.
I had a friend go there, and when I was in Texas, he went there and won like 20 grand. And then his wife turned around and run 15.
Oh, see, they probably pay a lot. When people win like that, I always wonder how much have they actually lost. Because I really feel like they probably played just as much or more than what they won.
Well, I
Probably.
remember him telling me, he took $3,000 and she took like 1,000. So I mean, and
Okay.
they didn't get through all that before they won it. So
Yeah, but
after they got
how
the
much
check.
did they lose before they, even prior to that? How much did they lose?
Well, like
I
a good
don't
300
know.
or something,
It,
$400
it
maybe.
wasn't that long. He said it wasn't that long. They was there. He won, then his wife won. Then they was like, "Hey, this is it. We good now."
Well,
Yeah.
there was a guy at one of the tables that won 300,000.
Playing blackjack.
He was on the roulette.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
they usually pay.
But see, I run people off the table because I'm on there learning and they on there serious.
Yeah.
And they don't want beginners on there. So, I don't really know how to play.
Why would they want beginners on it? You think they want to take their money?
Yeah.
That's what you would think.
Yeah. Well, this time I did better. I did understand it a little bit better. But the first time I sat down by myself, everybody on the table got off. They were so angry at me.
Oh, man. Gina had no friends that night.
I don't know. You don't want $10,000. Just brand new. You're like, oh, really? Let's get the hell up out of here.
No, they say I was making them lose their money.
Just jinxing out. Yeah.
Yeah. When you play blackjack, everybody's playing against the dealer.
Exactly.
And I didn't know how to play. I'm like, it's just a game. And they were looking at me like, are you out your mind?
Girl, I'm going to play. I'm going to pay my house
game. I got my rent on this game.
Right?
This is more than a game.
Absolutely.
You say something like that, it piss everybody off.
Yeah. We got some serious conversations today. I come back and man, I'm just really knocked off my feet. What's happening? I'm looking at this parade that's supposed to be a happy time. That's supposed to be, I can remember back when I was young, 4th of July, my mom would buy us, my mom and dad would buy us new outfits, new shoes, and we would go to the parade downtown Chicago every 4th of July. I'll never forget that. I would be so excited. This is a time where people wanted to do something family friendly, enjoy their family, celebrate, Independence Day, and it turned into a tragedy.
Yeah.
Somebody shooting in a crowd.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They didn't care whether they hit women, children.
So they just rolled up and started shooting to the crowd.
He was on top of a building. Like a sniper.
Oh, so he planned this.
They said they found a ladder.
Okay.
He climbed up the building, got on the roof of the building, and just started shooting.
That's wild.
I mean, it was complete chaos. People grabbing their children, leaving strollers behind, leaving blankets behind, leaving chairs behind.
I left everything behind. Skid marks, everything.
Everything.
Where Maurice said, he done ran out of his shoes, done burnt them off his feet. Man, shoot.
But that brings the question, do we feel safe going anywhere?
Let me tell you something. This is going to definitely be one of those years, or next year is going to be those years where something's going to have to happen with gun control. I mean, I honestly think that we need to do something. I'm advocate for guns. I mean, my son's a shooter. Both of my sons are shooter, and my grandsons are. So I don't believe there should be a limit.
But they're responsible shooters.
Yeah, and they don't have AR-15s either. You know what I mean? So I mean, I wasn't a big fan of that unless you getting ready to go to war with somebody. That was the only, I mean, shotguns, even pistol grip shotguns are kind of like, you have to think twice about those. But
definitely,
again, something's gonna have to be done. I mean, me and my wife were talking about it. I said technology is just gonna have to jump in, and it's gonna have to be a kind of technology that grandfathers back. I mean, so the only thing you can grandfather back is bullets.
There you go. And I know that I'm not too nervous to go places. It's just things can happen anywhere.
Yeah, you know can walk out, slip down the step and bush your head and be gone. Yeah,
it's just something when a lot of it hits closer to home. You know what I mean? Once it start hitting close to home and it's starting to get more frequent closer to home, that's when you kind of want to be on high alert. And I ain't even gonna lie, I'm on high alert. You know what I mean?
Everybody is. I mean,
it's wild.
Something happen every place. I mean, it happened here in Nashville too. So I mean, it seems like it's getting more and more prevalent. You know,
it does make me want to watch out for crowds, bigger crowds.
It does. I mean, we came out of COVID. Well, we're still not out of COVID, but we've came out of this. We are kind of out of this pandemic, and it seems like people just think they came out the woodworks on us this year. You know?
Oh yeah,
right. But think about it. This has happened at churches, grocery stores,
malls everywhere. Yep,
clubs,
movie theaters,
parades,
and then even right here, like you said, close to home, Jeff. Right here at a block party.
Oh yeah, right on the block party on Missouri Street. Yep, 19th. That's wild.
Do we really feel safe going places anywhere? You know?
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm on high alert when it comes to the crowd situation. It's like,
most of us are. I mean, we've been locked down and hermitage. We've been in.
Do you think? Let's bring on our other family member, because I want everybody to get involved in this conversation.
Cool.
Everybody on the panel, all of our viewers, all of our listeners, please get involved with this, because to me, it's just really, really getting out of hand. Let's bring on K-Mac. Hey, Kevin.
What's that?
Hey.
Hey, Mac, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. My life coach, little brother. What's going on? Mo B, the creative genius. Stevie Wonder got nothing on you.
And let's not go that far, okay? I know Stevie Wonder.
and Gina.
It's tools. That's all it is. Tools.
Extraordinaire. How is life for the Distinguished Authors Guild going to be in Las Vegas?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm very, very excited.
I'm excited.
Speaking with the owner of the venue, and we've been talking all day today, and I think just being in the element really got me excited about it.
Well, we with all this going on in the world, we've got to have something to hold on.
Yes.
And so for all those creative people out there that has a story to be told, this is an outlet for you to be showcased as melanated person that has put their conscious thoughts to share to make a difference in someone's life. I love this family.
Yes, so do I.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just want to kind of talk back on what you and Mo said, Jeff. You know, as far as really feeling safe when you go somewhere. I found myself even in Vegas, going in the grocery store, going into different places, finding an escape route. I'm mentally looking for an escape route now when I go into different public places.
It's amazing that you say that, because my current place of employment, excuse me, I've been here almost 6 years, going 6 years plus, but from day one, I came in, and laid out the law of the land that said, if anything happens, follow me, I'm going to get out. So, planning my escape route has been part of my DNA since I've been a child. Since I got my driver's license, my parents have told me what life was all about. The only difference is now the conversation that we as Black people have had amongst ourselves, the world is now having that same conversation. Because someone opened up Pandora's box. I would say 4.5, 5 years ago. And every idiot that have been suppressed
now out there
shown up. Our legal system, our justice system, because of profit, has been exposed. Every opening loophole, and they have fought it. And I think if you guys remember, we said the right person has to become a victim before change is ever going to happen.
That's true.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's getting close to home now. Because when you live in Philadelphia and you turn Independence Day, excuse me, into the OK Corral, it's getting people's attentions.
Well, think about this, Kevin, for a minute. You said something just then. The right person or a person that's going to make a difference. The last time this happened, that we had this big thing about gun control and all that stuff, was when Kennedy got killed. I mean, it's basically the same Kennedy and King.
But you have to look at the reason why in the 60s they had gun control is because of the Black Panthers and everything else. They didn't want us to have guns.
Well, again, it's going around to that same circle. I mean, it's like you think about it, the right person has to get messed up. It seems
I will tell you, and I don't want to come across as biased or racist, but if every Black person went out tomorrow across this country and bought one of those assault rifles that they claim to be using for safety, I can almost guarantee Thursday morning we would have new gun laws all across the state.
You daggone.
Oh yeah, you sure right about that, brother. Because that's the thing, man. It's like we talked about before. It's all about that power and control. You know what I mean? If they feel that one particular group is getting the upper hand, and in terms of also with the mass shootings too, because when you look at the mass shootings, though, you know, to me, mass shootings have no color. You know, it has no color. You see everybody kind of reacting with this. You know, black, white, Hispanic, Asian. You know, anybody could come out and just be angry, upset one day and want to spray.
Look at the protest. You know? I mean, look at the protest after these shootings. I mean, it's not just white people, not just black people.
Yeah, it's everybody.
And everybody. Again, unlike the 60s, where when Huey P. and them said, hey, we got a right to carry guns and stuff too, and they went down, you know, went to the courts with their guns, and things changed quickly. Very quickly.
Let's look at what they consider mass shootings. What most people don't really know what is defined as mass shootings. They think a lot of time, you know, before I really started diving deep into it, doing a deep dive, I thought it was killing a mass of people, like 10, 15, 20, just a whole crowd.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But actually, it's 3 to 4 victims, and they consider it a mass shooting. 3 to 4
Is it
victims.
because is it 3 to 4 victims in a big crowd? Is that how they look at it? 3 to 4 victims that get like
in one location.
Oh wow.
Right. In one location.
So it could be 10
or at least close to each other.
Okay. Wow.
So someone could shoot 2 people here, go a couple of blocks down and shoot 2 more. They consider that a mass shooting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Drive-bys and stuff like that. So.
Let me tell you how bad it is. I was in Vegas in Walmart, and I was in the aisle getting bottled water, and there were 3 other people in the aisle with me. 4 other people. It was 2 guys and another customer, and then there was the lady that was putting the water on the shelves. One of the guys, I turned my back to get something off the shelf behind me. One of the guys picked up a bottle of water and it slipped out of his hand and hit the floor. Boom. I ducked up under the case of water that the woman was putting, and I was looking around to find an exit door. And everyone in the aisle looked at me and just bust out laughing. I'm like, shoot, you don't know what people gonna do. You don't know what's gonna happen in any place.
Exactly.
They were laughing so hard at me, but all I could see was, where's my way up out of here? That's how bad it is.
And you think about what you just said. I mean, you got people that flip out because they don't get their drugs, you know, flip out in a Walgreens. You know what I mean? I was listening. I was downtown. Check this out. I was downtown working on the machine in Franklin, Tennessee today. And this dude was flipping out about a ticket that he got. I mean, I thought he was going to go postal on this daggone lawyer. He just over and over and over again. And he's cussing. Mind you, the courtrooms are less than 15 feet away. I knew the judges heard this dude. I knew the little sheriffs that, you know, monitor the doors heard it, but didn't nobody calm him down. Nobody.
Wow.
You know.
Well, because you don't know what that person gonna do, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting up there and I'm watching this dude while he's cussing and, you know, building up a storm because evidently this is not the first time because he had to have a lawyer and SR-22. So he done been a bad boy, you know, driving. And now they done took his driver's license. So, you know, he's just, and he's not no younger neither. He was my age doing all this cussing and stuff, you know, and raising all this cane.
Robert said, what's going on, Dope Living family? Hey, baby.
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's bad. And when even if you in an establishment and you hear someone having a disagreement or an argument, you
Yeah.
just feel really uncomfortable.
You
Yeah.
tune in. I know that. You tune in.
Yeah, because you got to see what the next move gonna be.
Right.
You normally don't, and you wouldn't want to intervene with anybody before. You probably would have been more susceptible to intervene before, just try to
Now you
calm some
listen.
people down. But now,
Yeah. Now you listen.
I'm listening. I'm kind of back away because you don't know
You to walk
where
up
they
on
gonna go.
somebody. Yeah. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
postal on you.
Yes. It's
Exactly,
just
bro.
happening, like you said. It's so prevalent now that
Yeah.
and it's sad that it is, because it's not, they're not getting their target. A lot of them aren't, that's after someone else. I just read a story where, and I believe it was in Chicago, where they mistook this car for someone else's, shot up in the car, and the bullet went into the head of a 5-month-old girl.
Oh,
5 months
Lord. Oh
old.
man. See, that
5
hurts.
months old.
man.
She didn't even live half of a year.
That's wild.
Where's the
The
dignity
humanity?
in the streets? Like,
Yeah.
there used to be rules to this game.
You wouldn't kill women and children.
There are no rules to the game anymore.
Nope.
None.
Everything's
None.
fair game.
Everything.
Truly, truly sad. It just hits my heart, to know how we grew up with these type of events, just having fun and having a good time and enjoying our families. And now
You wasn't
people
talking
don't want to
about
go
no.
anywhere.
Well, you don't talk about no death. But I mean, part of the thing is that was in Gary that helped kill all that was all the jobs and stuff went away, and you were left with people in despair. So the people that were in despair actually started doing a lot of that stuff. So I remember when you went downtown during Christmas, 4th of
Yes.
July,
Yes.
Thanksgiving, you could go do all of that stuff and not
Yes.
trip on nothing, not to worry
And
about
have a
tripping,
wonderful
have a
time.
good time, and that city was
Yes.
thriving. But once you took, the income away, I mean, what you left with?
Yeah, going through the struggle.
Well, let me ask you guys. I know you guys have talked about gun control. Do you really think that will put a stop to these mass killings?
I'm going
No.
to tell you.
I believe if they push some type of harsher sentence, maybe
I don't think
for
so.
I just because it's kind of like this, you drive, you get a speeding ticket, you go so many miles over, you go 5 miles over, you probably got to pay a little something.
But
Shoot, I can go 10, 20 miles over, and I had to pay like a $300 ticket. There's a
right,
difference in
but
when
there's
it's the
also
harsher.
a cost in your insurance.
That too. So see, but you see the point I'm making now? There's stipulations. There's a snowball effect going on with that. I believe if there was a snowball effect with not with gun control concerning the sentences, you know what I mean, for the crime, I think that would probably deter some people.
But that's going to be in conjunction because some people that you talk about gun control. When you say gun control, you got people that follow all the rules and do what they're supposed to do and go get registered, and they take care of their firearms. They don't leave them in their cars. They don't leave them unlocked. They don't leave them accessible. They do what they're supposed to do. Those are responsible people. But the guns that those people have are not those guns that's ending up in these daggone mass shootings.
Right.
Those usually are stolen guns. It's what they call stolen guns and ghost guns, and guns that are gotten through straw purchases.
Well, the other thing is, there were 4.1 million guns bought legally last year,
right,
here in the United States. So you kind of figured the numbers that were bought illegally that landed on the streets was probably close to that number, or double that number.
Yeah,
if I can say that. But the facts, I got that from Google, the 4.1. So the other number is just personal. So please don't hold the network responsible for put those numbers out there. But most of the people that are pulling the trigger in these mass shootings that we say were 4 people within a span of time are people that have a death wish. People that want to be sensationalized. Like Bonnie and Clyde and the old gangsters and so forth. They want to be immortal, saying that I did something. I think a lot of the responsibility, I can't lay all the responsibility, or to that little appliance that we carry around. It allowed an avenue for people that are messengers of hate to find an audience
Yep.
that wasn't accessible before, because before you had to have clan meetings. Now you can have, internet chats with people from all over the country. And if you're one of those
All over the
souls
world.
that are vulnerable, that's lost, that that is trying to find out what their reality is, and these people come in and tell you this is what your reality, and they say, well, you've got to be a messenger of whatever title of the Grand Poobah or whatever the case may be. then these people go out there and carry out these crimes, thinking that they're going to be heroes in the next life.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Well,
on that note, let me just put this disclaimer out there. The views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates.
Well,
all right. What did you have to say, Mo?
Again, technology is going to be the key. It's got to be something that makes not the firearm, because the firearm's out there, but the bullets identifiable instantly. I mean, that's of course that's after the crime has then been done. But if you know that them bullets that you got is going to be tracked, and they're going to be
so kind of like a VIN number on a car.
A VIN number, a tick. I call it a tick. Something that's actually in a buckshot, in a shotgun. The bullet actually having technology inside the lead. So
and the other
to be traced to that person that bought it.
Yeah, whoever bought the bullets is going to be in trouble.
Yeah, so, and that's what I was going to say. The other part of that is part two, is that one is going to raise the cost of bullets. So someone that money is important is going to decide that it's too expensive to shoot this person with this one bullet. They're going to save the bullet for a better time. Like the other is that in the event that you're able to track the origin of where the bullet comes from, you have to hold someone accountable for it.
Yep.
So if you didn't pull the trigger and you gave access to it,
you're responsible.
It's just like your voice is silent. It admits your guilt. Giving someone access to that bullet, you're an accessory to a crime.
Yep.
So if you purchase that gun or that bullet legally, and you give it to someone that is not registered or attached to that gun, and they take someone's life, both you and your insurance company and your personal are responsible for it.
Also,
so what do you say to somebody that just takes it then?
If it takes, you need to.
If they just take it. Let's say my son and my daughter, they just happen to know what my gun is. They take it, and then they do whatever they wish with it. Does that fall on you as well?
Unfortunately, that makes you an irresponsible gun owner. If one of your children have access to your guns and they go out and take someone's life.
Well, that's just like a car. If they take
you're responsible. It's the same way. If your 8-year-old goes out there and takes your car and runs someone over because they're joyriding, they can't prosecute the 8-year-old, because in most states you got to be 9-year-olds to be prosecuted. Who do they prosecute? The parents.
And that ride on your insurance company for $300,000. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
So again, I think you ought to have insurance covering that stuff too.
Yeah.
You think insurance companies are going to take that risk?
I don't know about that one.
No, I don't think it. But I do know one thing. If people started suing other folks, like I think we discussed this before, you done kill somebody's daddy or you done kill somebody's mama, you're responsible for raising that child until they're 18, and your insurance should cover it.
Well, it's just like
we able to sue the crap out of them.
It's just like we talk about justified immunity. You take that away and you hold the person pulling the trigger personal responsible, and you're able to sue him for his assets or whatever. People start to think about what their actions are, when it affects other people's livelihood. So insurance companies will make gun control laws a lot stiffer and say, if you own a machine gun, we won't insure you. You own a handgun that only has 8 rounds, it's going to cost you X amount of money during the course of your premium. There's got to be something. There's got to be a plan. There's got to be an action other than the conversation we're having after the fact. Because every single day, just like on this panel, we all run the risk in what we do daily of not being on here tomorrow.
Yeah, it's true.
True.
Yeah.
And it could be some idiot that just shows up to your local grocery store or the gas station and decides he doesn't like the way you park too close to him, and they shoot you.
And Robert says, why are the news stations and those other people saying a Chicago shooting? They need to take their own weight. So
because Chicago's the closest too, man.
right.
Yeah.
Just
It's
like you always hear things close by Gary and they tag it to Gary.
Right.
We know it wasn't in Gary, but
by association.
yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep.
And plus, Chicago's such an easy target because they have many shootings and gang
shootings.
violence already. It's just easy to say, okay, it could be something in Hyde Park, or it could be something in
The hundreds.
out here in Lansing, and then they'll easily say
Chicago.
it happened on the south side of Chicago, when Lansing clearly is not in Chicago, but it's near
not
the
even
south
close.
side. You know, we just right down the street from the bad boy.
It's just like in Philadelphia. You know, our news report read that Mayor Kinney said he can't wait to get out of office because he says every time he turns around,
I saw that
because of the gun violence. He says he doesn't get a day off. He says you couldn't even celebrate their holiday without gunfire.
Wow.
He said he want to go out and do normal stuff. He said he don't want all that on his back no more.
It's a lot of pressure when you've got people that some have low IQs, some have very high IQs, and they realize that you can mask a bullet being fired into a crowd behind the plane of the Star Spangled Banner and fireworks.
Yeah.
And no one will know the difference until someone drops. I mean, this city of Philadelphia, I'm going to tell you, you know, racism is high. That Love Park that they have in there, this is a city of bloodily blood, you know, not brotherly love.
Dang. Kevin. So what do you think about that other one where they shot that guy, like they shot 90 bullets at him and 60 of them hit him?
Yeah, that's bad.
Where'd the other 30 go?
And the other thing I want to say this too, you know, a lot of these police officers that are trying to do right, they don't deserve to die while they're trying to do their job.
No, they don't.
No, we have to stop the hate.
Yeah, and that the question is, how do you stop the hate? Because sometimes you got some evil ass police officers out here. I mean, I take my experiences down here in Tennessee, and then sometimes it's just damn ridiculous. I mean, you could see it, but if you call it, you know, you race baiting here. If you call it what it is, you know.
Well, see, you know, it's just like us as human beings. We're all not bad. We all have our flaws.
Yeah.
People that wear that uniform, some of them are not all that bad. They have their flaws. And some of them wear that badge when they're not leaders and they're pretending to be leaders, and they follow people because they're too afraid to speak up. And then they end up in situations of pulling the trigger on someone. You know, there's no reason for 7 people to be shooting at one person that's not even shooting back at them.
That's right. And doesn't even have, it has a firearm, but it's in the car.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, you also have to answer the question, is that why we value one shade of human flesh over another. I can be blonde and blue-eyed and shoot up a shopping store in Buffalo, and you cut me off at Chick-fil-A or McDonald's someplace before you arrest me. Where if I'm a person that looks like me, just because I fired a bullet in the air, they kill me.
Yeah.
Exactly, because you see, you deem more as a threat. You know what I mean? A lot of those views aren't going to pass away until we get certain people out and we get those, and we get that. It's, to me, I believe it's a generational thing. I believe mindset is generational. You know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff that we teach our kids.
You got that right.
It's a lot of stuff we teach our kids. It's a lot of stuff that seeps through the cracks, trigger words, all that stuff. Can't nobody tell me that mindset ain't generational. You see it in your family. Everybody say, well, you know, auntie such and such, you know, she crazy just like grandma such and such, like her mama. You know, or the same with the dad. You know what I mean? If
all of
we
it
recognize this stuff. So why is it that we don't really use this in terms of trying to figure out ways to help other people get over that, and even disciplinary action? You know what I mean?
I mean, that is such a hard thing, you know, because we got a bunch of generations that came back under the previous administration. We got a bunch of hate that came back, and they came back in force, and they're not giving it up quick. They're not giving that mess up. They're not giving up control and not giving up that hate. They're gonna keep blowing that stuff out there. As long as they got other people that are repeating it and putting it in the echo chamber, guess what? We're gonna have this hate problem. We're gonna have this hate problem and this racism problem. Until those folks die off and God replaces them with other folks, better folks, dude, we're gonna have this problem.
Definitely.
So my next question is, how do we protect ourselves when we go out in public then? Do we walk around? Are we going to a point where we walk around with bulletproof vests on?
That's a real good question, yo. That's a real good question, because you know what? One of the things that I haven't done in Illinois is because it doesn't work out with my schedule, is actually try to get a license for concealed carry, because you have to go through so many hours, so many classes, all this stuff.
But
and you got to be there for them classes. And they have them on certain days. Now in Indiana, they just changed the law. What was that, July 1st, where you could carry? Now everybody can carry. You don't need the license now. So I feel a little bit better going into Indiana, you know, if I'm in certain parts, you know what I mean? And I have my gun on me. So
that's
I'm
the way
okay
it
with
is
that.
here. That's the way it is here.
Now let me ask you a question. There's a difference between owning a gun and using a gun. Do you think that you can live with yourself for taking a life?
Oh, I couldn't.
That's a tough one, man. It you know what? A lot of people don't think about, if you were in a situation where you were like, if somebody was actually coming at you and they actually were threatening you, or if they did put their hands on you or provoked you. My big thing is, if you trying to, okay, let's say for instance, I can get into a fight with somebody, okay, and they don't know that I have my gun on me. If they beating the hell out of me and it's near death and they just let go, hey, I'm gonna pop you one good one in the leg or something. I ain't gonna try to kill you, but I'm gonna at least try to pop you somewhere to let you know, hey, brother, you know what I mean? You came at me, you provoked me. So to subdue you and to make sure you calm and chill, yeah, you're gonna get a pop to the kneecap.
Let me give you some food for thought and reality, because every action has a reaction. I have a neighbor that someone cut him off, and they exchanged words while they were going down the highway. The guy that cut him off, they came to a stop, got out of the car, okay, and start mouthing off. My neighbor got out of the car, walked up to him. The guy that cut him off took a swing at him and missed. My neighbor took a couple of swings at him, and all of them landed. Well, evidently, the guy was 65 years of age. My neighbor is only 42 years of age. He is now facing 9 months in county jail, not because he was defending himself, because that's what he thought the law was on his side, but because the guy was a senior citizen and one of our council members. Because even he was considered, because he got out of his car, he was considered now the aggressor.
Well, you think about it though, Kevin. If something is happening like that, why not just keep going?
Wisdom.
Why stop and get out your car?
Well, my point was, when Jeff was talking about he's getting the crap beat out of him, he's going to go out and pull his gun, and he's going to wound him. What if he hit him in the leg and cut his artery and he bled to death? Now you're going to be charged with murder. What if it happened to be a white guy that you were dealing with, and you were in Mississippi and that happened? Now you got life without parole. So you've got to think about your actions, where you're at, and whatever, and the risk that you're taking. Is it really worth it?
But that's sad that I as a black man, have to think about that, though. That's sad that I, as a black man, have to think about that.
You're exactly right. Because the first thing I said, if I didn't know that outcome was going to be the way that my neighbor turned out, I'd have beat him up some more.
He'd been bloody though. Now you'd have been attempted murder then.
Yeah, I would have made it a memory. I mean, 90 days out of your life in the jail, because he's going to lose his job, and he's got a good paying job of 6 figures. You know, and he's trying to figure out a way to take off and keep his job. And he says, well, can I get house arrest? Well, house arrest is fine, but they're not going to let you work.
Because you know what I think? What the scenario would be different if, now let's say if that person was attacking me and they kept attacking me, and then I could reach for my gun and I shot them, I think that outcome would be totally different. As opposed to that person done beat me up off of me and either walking away or so many feet away. I think that would pose as a different scenario.
Well, I'm
Because
not sure that it would, Jeff, because based on the law, you can't use more of a weapon than what someone is using on you.
against you.
then what the hell is the point of carrying a damn gun then? See, that's what I see. Give me clarity, people. Give me some damn clarity.
The reason why
Now,
open carry is so popular right now is because when they legalized marijuana, the resource for free labor, which slavery was starting to deplete. So
yeah,
what they did was we have to figure out another system systematically in order to incarcerate people a lot faster. You do not know that it's legal for you to drive a car with at least 2 drinks in your system, but it's a federal crime if you own a gun and driving a car with at least 1 drink in your system. People don't
or
realize
any,
that
yeah,
there are systems in play that having the rights to the gun will get you put in prison a lot faster without anything else. They can say all these other trumped up charges, but because if your license are suspended and you're driving without a gun, it's a federal crime.
With the
It
All
seemed
these
like it
laws are
helped you
made up
more when
in
you.
order for us to be incarcerated because right now we just basically feel we can be like Texas and carry a gun on our hip and whatever. It ain't so.
See,
And for those of you young brothers that are listening to this, you'll be in jail faster than you say your full name.
Yeah, that's why they removed everything they removed in Indiana. Yeah,
definitely. I can see
everyone's
that.
happy that you can carry and not have to go through all the red tape. But that also gives them a reason to pull you over. They can pull you over
and search your vehicle.
I have a family member right now that's going through that with a firearm, and they're fighting it.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's so crazy about that is this: you know, you going down the street, you get pulled over by the law, and if you got a firearm in your vehicle, and you happen to have a kid in there, and you happen to have some drugs in there with you, or an open container, you're talking about felony. You know,
snowball effect.
yeah. So just like Kevin said, they just pile it on.
And look, Jeff. Most of the time, you don't even get the opportunity to plead your case because as soon as they see a gun,
this true.
They pulling out and they shooting.
Yeah.
Well, it seemed like the only time when it's gonna benefit you then is having your gun at the crib.
Well, yeah, that's
you know something. The real benefit of this is also education, understanding. Like we're talking about the laws, but we have a lot of people that have been military trained out there that should be organizing our communities to protect ourselves. So we get in that situation, you can still take a life with your hands just as fast as you can take a life with a gun. But a lot of times, the one thing about doing something with your hands, you're a lot more accurate than with that gun, because if you shoot and miss,
that's true,
and there's an 8-year-old boy playing in the parking lot down the street, and you put the bullet through his head, that's someone's 8-year-old son that will never see graduation.
Yeah, your fist is not gonna go down the street and kill somebody.
Exactly. That trajectory is something else.
Yeah.
So even in the case that you talked about, Jeff, somebody's beating you, bludgeoning you, and you pull out a gun, they feel like you went to an extreme. They didn't have a gun. And so you're the one who's going to be tried. You're the one who's going to be looked at as the aggressor because you had a more powerful weapon than what they were using.
Let's see, my question is, so then for anything outside of home defense and going to the range, what is the point of you having a gun on you to carry it there?
You just answered yourself. You have no reason to carry a gun.
That's the point I'm trying to make. That's the question I got.
So
because I wish we had somebody on there who was just die hard gun, like 20,000 guns come, because they out there because they can give us that back and forth
and give us a rundown.
You got to tell me something, man, because after dissecting all of this, home defense and shooting at the range, your ass don't need no gun on you, man.
and you don't need a machine gun.
You don't need that. No, shoot, you don't need something that shoots what is it, 100 bullets a second or some crazy crap.
But they're going to be out there. They're going to be out there, and they're going to have them.
I know a lot of people like that.
Yes.
Well, again, technology is going to have to be there because those guns are out there, those firearms out there in other people's hands that can do a lot of collateral damage. So you got to go with the technology and do something with the bullets.
And I can almost guarantee the technology for those bullets already exists. It's just they haven't shown a profit in it.
It's 2 or 3 technologies. No, that's the NRA. Is what's keeping that. It's 2 or 3 technologies. It was one back in the 90s that the freaking NRA just buried. I wouldn't be surprised if they bought the technology and buried it, but it was access to your firearm and being able to pull the trigger.
Hey, let me ask you another
Biometric.
question. Now, this could be a conspiracy theory. The young man in Buffalo that was a security guard that was murdered 2 weeks ago. He had went public to say that he had created the technology in order to have automobiles run
Run
on
on
water.
water.
Yeah, I heard
That's
about
been
that.
around for a minute.
Yeah, it's a few people who have done
Is
that.
is it a coincidence that he was murdered?
The other guy came up missing too. I mean,
It's at least 3 or 4 of them, right? They all come up dead.
it's actually pretty simple. You'd be surprised how simple it is. I'm not.
Don't say too much, Mo.
Well, it's actually really. I'm just saying it's really simple. A lot of people don't know how simple it is. I mean, hydrogen. Oh my God! I mean,
Don't say too much, Mo. We need you here, bro. He keep going. Don't do it, Mo.
All right, I'm not gonna geek out.
Look, we're gonna be on here.
And Mo, they like your house.
Where Mo at? Where is Maurice? We're gonna be asking that question for a whole month.
Oh, Mariana jump on here and say, "Get the cavalry up, baby."
I don't particularly. I think it may be a conspiracy theory. I don't know. What would you think? The government hired this guy?
Well, it's. I mean, it's like the air battery that came out, which is currently being used by the electric car manufacturers, and that was invented by a brother and another, and actually in conjunction with this guy that's in Germany. And the air battery is it's leagues ahead of the lithium ion. I mean, and guess what? You don't have to worry about the pollution, of making them. And it's on that other deal with the hydrogen. So I'm back off that now.
Thank you. We want you. We love you. We don't want you to be gone and disappearing.
That's right.
I'm just saying it's out there, and that was like it was really hard to get that technology up. Really, really hard. So, but we had to do something about the ranges of these batteries.
So with that theory, Kevin, what would be the premise behind it?
Honestly, I don't know. That could be, just like our government, it's a distraction. It could be just a coincidence that he happened to be there, and it could be sending a message. Because if you look at the fact that cars run on water, water is a lot more easier to obtain than crude oil, and you think about how many jobs will be lost. And how many people that own islands will now be living in condos? Automobile manufacturers, oil companies, gas companies, those people, they rely on us being dependent on them. If all of a sudden we had a resource,
well,
it's just there's a car, there's technology that allows an automobile to run 100 miles on a gallon of gas, but you don't see it in anybody's car.
Oh no, that's a whole nother thing. And we tried. We actually did a little bit of it in the 70s, when they was putting all these air pumps on these cars. These little air pumps driven by the belts. Yeah. And what it was doing was taking the actual itemizing the fuel more to make it more efficient. But what happened is the exhaust just burnt the damn thing up after about 40,000 miles. It was worthless. So. It was a whole bunch of technologies that they just half did to get then suddenly cars just started getting, better gas mileage. I remember an 86 Buick that I had. It got better gas mileage than a Honda and a Toyota. It's crazy. Suddenly when we started using fuel injection, we was able to get 26, 30 miles a gallon on a V6 engine, It's a lot of technology just sitting on the shelves too.
Well, I just believe that when we start looking at technology with guns and all that other stuff, I just think that I think that we so far ahead, and like they could have it out now and everything, but I think we too far behind, and And I think the only way that we can get some type of control, and I don't want to say gun control, but control over people to alter their decision making. I'm telling you, it's gonna take. Let me tell you something about black folk.
The wrong person
When you
getting
carry
shot.
that one very, very, very harsh sentence on one of us, we think twice about that crime. Let me tell you something, if you was gonna lock me up for 50 years for weed, there's no weed in this house at all. None. It's gone. It's out the door. You know what I mean?
Hey,
This is just how we are as a people. You know what I
let-
mean?
they
let-
did
let
lock
me-
some people up for 50 years
And
for
they
weed.
did.
That's
They
Right,
did.
right.
This
Yeah.
is true. They did.
And now it's legal.
And now
Let's
it's
bring us
legal.
home. They bring them home.
Yeah,
Exactly.
let me ask you a question and think about this.
Mhm.
Before what's that guy got elected? You know, we had 9/11.
Mhm.
Since we have all these mass shootings, have we had a terrorist attack since then? Are they just sitting back there and go, "Hey,
Let them kill
let's see what
themselves.
There it
happens
is,
in
Kevin.
Fox News."
There
We
it is,
don't need
Kevin.
to blow up stuff. They do it to themselves.
Yeah.
There you go,
Right.
Kevin.
And Ella said overkill and pray first. But that's
That's been my protection.
interesting.
That's been my protection every time
That's
I walk out the door in the
interesting.
morning. Pray.
Yeah, that's interesting that you would bring that up,
Yeah.
Kevin, because you do look around and the terrorist attacks are gone.
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 Ain't nobody
They
trying to
just
come out here put a
homegrown now.
bomb under nowhere.
They ain't gone. They're
Nothing like that.
homegrown. They're right here in the USA.
They said we don't have to do
Exactly.
anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
You right, man. That's a good observation, brother. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't gonna
Or they
hold you on
could,
that.
or they could be thinking the country is so fucked up, we don't want it anymore.
This
That
is also true.
That
They like,
too.
I don't want my kid to grow up in that crap.
we could do better, right?
Keep
Where we
it.
at?
Right.
That is so true.
We come over here. They gonna kill us before we kill them.
Look, I'd rather stay at home than go to the US.
Right.
Mhm. And there's a lot of people that feel that way. There's a lot of countries that feel that way.
Oh yeah.
Well,
They
Oh,
look at
yeah.
how we do things, how we operate, how people have certain sentences and for everything, and some of that stuff can be lesser than what it is over there. But since they just want a better life for themselves, they just want to escape where they at.
right.
They like, well, why the hell would I come over to something else? And they had the opportunity to treat me the same way like I am at home.
Again, like I said, we have our own terrorists here. I mean, and
Yeah.
they seem to be worse than the ones that shot over at 9/11. You think about how many people done died since 9/11 just from the crap that we, our homegrown terrorists. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mhm.
That's true.
So
That's true.
and
even when you talk about, families or other people coming from other countries to get a better life, look at the young man that was killed by the cop that was from another country, and his family came here to give him a better life, to get him out of danger.
Right.
And he died at the hands of a police officer.
Mhm. Came back to only encounter some more danger.
Right. And
That's why I said, one, being black here in America is an adventure. You don't know what's going to happen when you leave home. And coming to this country, when they talk about make America great again, why don't you say what it is? Let's take you back to where one race ruled and the other,
get to
is
work.
comfortable because it's free labor. That's all they want, free labor. They don't want to pay for us to do that. They don't want women to sit on the same level that they are. Once
For the
we
same
control
knowledge.
one, we control all.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say is that there are a lot of smart people. If we ever got together and decided to band together against the forces that oppose us, you guys are in a lot of trouble.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But do you think that'll ever happen? I don't ever see that happening.
Well, no, that's because they have done a great job of separating us, and now we've got this cancel culture that you can't sneeze and someone disagrees and whatever. You can't say hello to someone without losing your job or your
harassment,
livelihood. You can't dress a certain kind of way or make a comment that normally would be in a room that would have a smile, some levity, and whatever. Everyone's too sensitive and offended. They're playing us like we're a banjo.
Well, it's chess. The game is called chess.
We're slapping our knees and going to the beat and whatever, and they know that there's no beat without a drum, and where the drums come from, us.
Well, we know that the guns don't come from our communities.
They were dropped off in our communities.
Yeah, we know that that's not where they originated from. We know that they were given to us to bring to our communities, so that we can have all of this chaos and all of this social media and these things that's on television, that it gives so many people the go ahead that it's okay to do these things, that it's okay to go out and shoot up a parade, or it's okay to go out and shoot up a supermarket or kill a child. And there's no remorse to it. I don't even see remorse.
With the exception of the stuff that people want to get on TV for, and that's to place a rose at, at the site, or teddy bear or whatever,
Well, I think a lot of it is for the fame. If I do this, people will remember my name. People will remember what I've done, even though it's a negative thing. A lot of them want that fame of the negativity.
Hey, Gina, before we go on, let's go ahead and let's set this up for a little life coaching, and let's bring on our life coach, Mr.
But first, let's welcome our Greg.
What's up, bro?
What's happening?
Yes, it is that time. Marcy's not here to do it. She does it better than I do. But so you do it. We're going to regroup, refocus, and revisit everything.
Oh, Jesus. Y'all be butchering the 3 R's.
Regroup, Lord. Redirect, regroup, refocus.
There it is, Kev. There it is.
I threw revisiting that.
Revisit. Well, she's in real estate.
This is true. So we got a few more R's to add into that. It's okay. All right, I'm gonna dive right into this. I'm gonna let y'all know something. So real quick, today I happened to catch a video of a state senator who was actually twerking and asking for votes on camera on a handstand. I mean, got on her little bikini on and all that stuff. And she put her name out there, so I'm going to put her name out there. Her name is Tia Mack, Rhode Island State Senator. And I just want to talk to y'all about representation today. I want you all to represent integrity, to represent dignity. Don't represent that foolishness like that. See, when we look at our state and local representatives, and even our representatives in Congress as well, we uphold them to a certain standard, to a certain degree. You know what I mean? And with all of that, it's not called for. Let me vote for you because of the issues, because you are paying attention to the issues, not because you got that round booty in that thong ready to go ahead and twerk on a handstand. You're not my wife. You're not my girlfriend. I don't need you for that. I need you to pay close attention to these issues out here. So once again, people, when you go ahead and vote for somebody who is going to represent you, not just hop on to the next trend to gain the votes. That's what I got for y'all today.
Oh, you got to be kidding, man.
Oh, it's out there, brother. Oh, it's out there.
Looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's out there.
Oh, yes, my God.
I was kind of shocked and appalled when I saw that. I was like,
now we're going to have to go find it.
Now, what's her political platform?
Let's bring on Marcy. Marcy, you missed your punchline, honey.
I know. I passed. I don't have to go find that.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Tierra Mack.
Tierra Mack.
Look, he's like, make sure you get it.
As long as it's not Macklemore, I'm
fine. Well, we already met some of your family members, long distance cousins.
Yep.
Robert says they are about to change the conceal and carry law, family. And then we have authoress Michelle Kane. Hey, good evening, family.
Hey.
Yeah, I could see that happening. If they changed it here in Indiana, I'm pretty sure other states are going to follow suit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, I hope we don't get to a point where everywhere we go, people got a pistol on each side. We going back to the Wild Wild West, y'all.
Hey,
yeah.
If it's left up to certain lawmakers, yes, because guess what? If we sneeze the wrong way, they might justify killing us for that stuff. You know,
yo, only the Wild Wild West though.
Only in
the Wild Wild West. Come on now.
Only in Texas.
And you know,
Tennessee.
yesterday with that mass shooting, they said a couple of senators already came out, or the governor one, stating that, so I guess they're going to start wanting again to restrict do new gun laws. And I'm like, well, yeah, you know, this is one of the reasons that we want to change some gun laws.
If we don't start paying attention to little sparkly stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And get off point.
So what do y'all think? How do you think our lives are going to change on a day by day? How do you think it's going to change now with all of this mass shooting and gun laws? And how do you think, what do you, just like COVID changed our lives and we'll never go back to the life as we knew it, how do you think this is going to change our lives?
I think, like you said, though, you know, we're gonna see people rolling around with guns on them all the time, one on the left hip, one on the right hip. And I think we may end up with more irresponsibility with guns as well. People thinking that they know how to use it, but they truly don't know how to use their weapon. People gonna start carrying guns for fashion, for fad, all that other stuff like that. And then something really gonna pop off. And then that's when we talked about earlier, like you get your gun charge on you and everything, and now you gonna be sitting in jail for a long time because you wanted to follow the crowd.
And you know, and also how a lot of people are like, well, if I have my gun with me in a mass shooting, I can shoot back. But they don't realize if the police have been called and the police are coming in, they're coming in. There's a shooter and you have your gun, so they can mistake you for the shooter.
That's it.
You know, and then if everybody have a gun and everybody's shooting all different directions, everybody's gonna get it.
Like I
Marcy,
said,
that's
the
why I
Wild
asked
Wild
earlier,
West.
Marcy. Yeah, that's why I asked earlier, Marcy. I said, well, what's the point of you having a gun if it ain't for just trying to defend your home or just go out and shoot with it? What's the point of having it?
That's a good question, though. I mean, I don't think anyone answered that question yet. What is the point? Why do we have such free will to carry when if you use it, you may end up in jail?
And it's got to be better than a constitutional right. I need to hear it better than that. And if you're going to go all the way back to when they first wrote the Constitution and you got to try to relate that to now, we're going to start talking about organized militia, all that other stuff. Yo, black folk tried to do that and we got stopped. So don't holler at me about no organized militia mess, because everybody not going to be treated the same way if we try to quote unquote organize a militia. So I need a much better explanation than just going back to those constitutional days and trying to apply it to now, because you can't do it.
Nope. So
I will, you know, I'll say this again. I'll say it a different way. It's the penal system. The number of incarcerations are down. Open gun law carries will allow us to have free labor because it's faster to incarcerate us based on the gray area in that open carry law. We don't read the details, like we don't read the instructions when we're putting something together. We read just enough in order to get the first couple parts on, and then we think we know the rest as we start to put together, and we end up with an extra screw. The open carry law is that extra screw. The note that the piece of paper you threw away is where all the attention to the details. You know, you honestly, I mean, it's just like, you know, the people living in the suburbs, you know, carrying guns because of safety. You know, your mailman ain't never robbed you. Your UPS drops it off like everybody else. You know, unless you go down to the neighborhoods in order to get your little thing on with, you know, the girl that you don't want your wife to know, or pick up a little taste of something you want to do behind the office or whatever the case may be. Until you get in those questionable neighborhoods or whatever, you don't need a gun. You know, people don't break in your house to murder you, to break in and take your big screen TV. Let them have it. That's why you got insurance.
Yeah,
that's true too. You're all right.
Well,
when you break to your house, just keep sleeping. Baby, I just be like, baby, I heard a noise. I heard it too. Take your ass back to sleep.
Go sleep. We replace it in the morning.
Exactly.
Oh my
we
gosh.
All right.
Just lock your bedroom door. You got a smartphone. You got the thing. Look and wait till they leave.
You out of your mind.
Hey. We done played out the
That's what you
foolproof
got a pit
scenario
bull
so
for.
everybody stay alive and don't go to jail except for the person that stole
That's
from
what you
you.
got a pit bull for.
Oh
That's true
my
too. Get you a
goodness.
good guard dog.
Man, we got to find a better way, y'all. We got
You,
to find a better way.
I don't think that's the answer.
you
I
ever
don't
see
think it's
that?
gonna work either.
You ever see that Allstate commercial when the guy has all that technology, whatever, he's out of the game, and they come in there and they take all of his stuff and says, call the cops, whatever. He goes, I got your TV, and they walk out and said, ooh, look what I got, all mom's jewelry. By the time the cops got there, they're in and out already. Let them have their way.
Mm-hmm.
And 80% of the time when you own a gun, chances are the gun gets used on you anyway.
They end up taking the gun.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the. I really don't.
I don't either.
Well, let them in and let them come take your stuff.
You don't have clean criminals like that though. They're not coming in to just take your stuff.
No,
They find you there. They want to rape you.
Believe it or not, they all criminals start off clean criminals. They have no record. They're all first timers coming into a situation, and they panic. But if they have a gun and they panic, what happens? They run down the street, waving the gun, shooting at anything, trying to get away. You could be that neighbor that says, honey, get up, I think I hear gunfire, and all of a sudden you stick your head out the window and go, oh yeah.
You
watch too much TV, Kevin. That's all I can say.
Stick your head out the window.
Look here. All I'm saying is me and my wife, we stay in sleep. I'm like, baby.
I've always
Greg,
been told
we there.
Nothing good happens after 11 o'clock. So I take my ass home.
There you go.
Yeah, I really think a lot of things are going to change. Things are going to change in the schools. Heck, we might have metal detectors in the grocery stores now, or
have them everywhere.
In the theaters. It's going to be a lot of. I believe there's going to be a lot of changes, so that think about it. If there isn't, businesses are going to lose money because people are not going to want to go to places with crowds.
Exactly. You just brought up a really good point.
Yeah, all my food now is delivered. I don't go to grocery stores anymore.
Exactly.
But how you know the person who delivered it to you don't have a gun coming at you?
Because they leave it at the door.
They leave it at the door.
I get a notice when they show up. I can see them when they leave.
Okay.
Absolutely. So think about how it's going to impact businesses as far as entertainment, like movie theaters or malls. It's gonna hit heavy. And Kevin, you brought up the point that until it hits certain individuals, there's not going to be any changes. That's going to be a turnaround right there. When they start losing money in these establishments because people are afraid to come out in crowds and afraid to go out and take their families different places, you better believe they're going to lose huge amounts of money.
But you know what the new marketing pitch is going to be? Safety now.
Yeah,
it's going to be safety. Now now everybody's going to say we have new security features. We'll make sure nobody can penetrate this. They're going to say they have all this stuff until something happens, because it will happen.
And they're going to blame it on somebody that didn't do something.
Exactly. It's because it's going to happen.
So I think what you're saying is that, you think about this, Jenny, you just hit the nail on the head when you said, okay, I can't go to the store unless I have a guaranteed safety. Now that's when you start having to back up on these damn loans.
And see, that's the tricky part, because it's like the balancing act. You got to deal with the people who already have done their due diligence, who either have gotten their licenses, went through that, and are responsible gun owners. And then you have to deal with the irresponsible people. You have to take the good with the bad. And what's so sad about that is the actual good people might end up suffering at the hands of the bad people, because that's what we're seeing take place right now.
Robert said being
unacknowledged
is the same as not knowing.
Yeah.
So have you guys talked about what do you do if you're caught, if you're somewhere and there's a mass shooting? Have you guys discussed that? What would you do in that case?
Go ahead, Greg.
Minding my business.
Whip out the MAC-10.
Kevin gonna say go to sleep.
Lay down and go like that.
There you go, brother. That's right. Lay down.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
That's not funny. That's not funny because that one little girl, that's what she did. She played dead.
Yeah, she played dead. She did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
and rubbed
played
the
Mhm.
blood
on
on.
her. Yeah.
Mhm.
But now that
Wow.
that's been broadcast, others will be like, "Oh, let me just shoot people for good measure." I don't, you know.
To make
Mhm.
sure that they did.
Right,
Do
right.
any of you
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
you know, I've had friends and family tease me because when
Mm.
I go into a building, and especially if it's a new building, a room, or restaurant, I'm always looking to see where the exits are,
I said that
That's
earlier.
what
and I
Kevin
don't like
said.
my back to
I said that
the
earlier.
main entrance either.
Back towards the door. Yeah.
I
And
don't do that, and
to-
they
to
laugh
this-
at me.
To this very day, because we had a big picture window, and when my mom was going through the civil rights thing, we kept getting rocks and stuff thrown to our picture window. I won't sit with my back against a door, and like I said, like you guys said, I always have an out.
Well, you know what? You can't even sit on your living room couch. We hear about family members, kids sitting on their couch in the privacy of their home,
Yep.
Sleeping in
thinking
their
they're
bed.
in a safe place, sleeping in their bed, feeling like they're in a safe place. Bullet comes through the wall, and they're dead.
Yeah.
So let me
We
ask
hear
you
about it
this.
all the time.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you guys talked about this, and you guys doing a good job, by the way. Did you talk about the you talked about the shooter in Highland Park, Illinois, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Did you all speak on his background?
No.
No.
This okay. He's got a lot of stuff on YouTube. He was a rapper,
Yep.
all right. They said he was a rapper. Well, he was a rapper. So if we're looking at this and we look at some of his videos, which he had a couple of them on there, to me, this guy, if you look at him, he didn't have nothing going on personally with himself. He's a funny looking dude. But I think he did this for that credibility that all rappers look for, except for the he really
That
didn't
street
care.
cred.
I didn't look at it like that.
He knew that he was going. He knew he was going to go in, and I'm quite sure you guys spoke about it. And I apologize for not being here on time. Spoke about the fact that, and I think Kevin touched on it a little bit. The guy that got killed. The guy that drove 200 miles to that particular spot.
Right. He did
Right.
touch on that. Yep.
You
We
know,
did talk
but
about that.
also- But also, this guy got out of his car, held his hands up, and I think I put a little anecdote on our conversation. Got out of his car, put his hands on his head, laid down on. He did everything that the police told him to do.
He's still alive.
And he's still alive.
Yeah.
And I think a few months back, black guy got out the car, and he's dead. All right, traffic violation or whatever, he's dead. One thing that I can say about this is that if you cooperate, you got a better chance of survival, right? But if you're black,
you don't have a chance.
you just got to
truth,
like rolling dice, man. You might crap out, all right?
I know a true to life situation, and you guys may have seen it on the news, where there was a black guy that went into a bank in Joliet, and he actually worked with my son and my sister. They knew him very well. He had been in prison for 25 years, had been raped in prison, had been abused. So he had some mental issues going on. He went into the bank not to rob it. They even said he did not try to rob the bank. He went in there and he told the so-called hostages, call your family, let them know that you're coming home. I'm not going to hurt you. When he walked out of it, he let every one of those hostages go. When he walked out that bank, they shot him down like a dog.
Man.
And he was black. He didn't get the opportunity to go to trial.
A lot of blacks don't get
That's
it.
wild.
There's that imbalance. You know what I'm saying? It's a severe imbalance of impartiality for us. Okay, we are always, we're going to be
Minimalized and all that other stuff.
because we're driving while black. Okay,
Yeah.
and, walking while black. We're living while black.
Breathing while black.
It's It's always a thing
Damn,
for us,
Marshall.
man. That's we just I don't want to call it pigeonhole because this is what we are. This is what we and we're proud to be who we are. But the fact remains, things are going to get. And Gina, you asked the question. Things are going to get worse. You know, and I hate to say that with such callousness, but things are going to get worse. You know, because the summer's here. These kids don't know anything. They don't care. It's just like the shooting in Gary that nobody really knew about early in the morning. 3 people died. 3 people died.
And several
It just
shots.
happened. You can't. So now you can't. Let's open your book up, Marcella, because you can't go to church. You can't do parades now. All right. Don't have 4th of July parties. What is the other stuff we had? You know, you can't go to the grocery store.
Movie
Can't go to
theater,
school.
Can't go to the
grocery
mall.
store, can't even go to school.
So we're running out of places to go. Running out of places to go. I'm waiting to see what happens at a casino. You know.
Oh my God.
Oh, we.
But that's already happened at a casino.
That was a while
previously.
back, wasn't it?
Yeah, but don't they have metal detectors when you
Detectors?
clear?
I would hope so.
Now, some
Not
do,
at
some
the
don't.
ones in Vegas, they didn't.
You know, they need to pass serious laws dealing with mental illness and with the red flag bans and things. I was speaking to someone this morning. We were talking about something else, and somehow we got on talking about mental illness and police and shootings. And I shared my story with my son. As a matter of fact, she wants me to speak somewhere. But that's a big thing with mental illness because they don't, pardon me?
Make them pay you.
They don't, they're not equipped. Police stations, and that's all over the country. You have some that are equipped, but most of them are not equipped, and they need to actually have, with every precinct, a mental health team so that if it's considered to be a wellness check and a family says, I need you to come for a wellness check, and that's what you call it, if it has something to do with someone with a mental illness, where that team comes. Because the police are like, you know, they treat them like anybody else. And like, Gina, you were just talking about that young man, you know, that has some issues going on. They don't know how to handle it. And you know, if someone's there that can talk to them and know about mental illness, I think some of those shootings will change, possibly.
But Marcelo, what is mental illness? We all are suffering from some type of trauma.
I'm saying someone who is certified, has been diagnosed with maybe bipolar, schizophrenia, manic, you know, manic depression, something like that, where they are having an episode. And that's what I'm going to call it.
Put them into society and put a gun in their hand just like everybody else.
Yeah, it's just like
and that's what I'm saying. There need to be, wait a minute, there need to be laws, whereas I understand you have HIPAA laws, and that's how they're getting around it right now because of the HIPAA laws. But if someone is actually diagnosed by doctors and certified, have a diagnosed with a mental illness, they should not be able to go in and get a gun.
They shouldn't be able to, but they do. That's what I'm saying.
That's why there need to be laws passed so that cannot happen.
The question is what law?
Yeah, you know, how do you make a law?
And how you do that?
They go another march.
I've been diagnosed with a severe head trauma, which if I had been in the military, it would be post PSD and whatever. But I went to Roxy. I've been certified to shoot and whatever. I can go get a gun, but nothing in my background says that today is the day that I want to shoot someone. But if someone comes in and does harm to my family and I crack tomorrow and I have a gun, my mental illness is not going to diagnose the trauma that I suffer because of loss of someone else.
So now you're going to have a bunch of law. You're going to have a bunch of people marching now, a bunch of autistic people, a bunch of everybody else in one little parade with all of them people. I was going to tell a joke, but I'm not going to tell the joke, okay?
Thank you. I saw it coming.
But all these people are not crazy. Some of these people are sane people.
Right.
But
do you think
that find a way in order to be famous or whatever the case may be? They want to get likes, you know, followers or whatever the case may be. This is mental illness. It's the fact that you can't get up and walk out of your house or cross the street without looking down on that. That's trauma. And you've been programmed that for profit.
Now, if we in a case where let's say we're in a situation where somebody does have a mental illness and somebody's at the home with them. Remember, there was a situation a while back where that black guy got shot at his house and killed.
Yes, his mom called the police
there you go.
because
His
he was
mom
having
called.
an episode.
Yep. So
wellness check.
And there you go. Do you believe? Well, that's probably just discredits what the hell I'm getting ready to say, but I'm still say it anyway. Maybe if there was a law or something or stipulation set up to where people with mental illness need to have like a caregiver or somebody who could speak on their behalf. You know what I mean? Because I think about the situations like we said before, if they're by themselves and then something happens, then they're going to try to write it off as a quote unquote justified killing. You know what I mean?
I was my
and that's
son's
without the
caregiver.
background being in.
I was my
coming into
son's
play.
caregiver and speaking for him, and they still murdered my son. He was laying on the ground on his stomach. So caregiver, speak for them. It does not matter.
And that's why this is very hard.
I agree with you that in law enforcement there should be trained people to deal with that. But also, if you have someone in your home that has a mental problem or medication that will cause them to have suicidal threats, you shouldn't have a gun in your house.
No, should not.
But, you know, and we're talking about two different things. We're talking about someone with mental illness being able to acquire a gun, to buy a gun. And then we're talking about policemen coming in with guns, just shooting people willy-nilly because they're not trained properly.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when you say that, I think law enforcement officers, just like renewing your driver's license, should have a mental health check every single year.
Not a doubt.
To see if you're fit to do your job, and also, you know, be recertified with your gun.
We hit on this last time. We hit on the same thing about licensing people and them having to renew it every year or every so many years, just like a driver's license, and you have to have a rider on your insurance.
And you know, someone that was in law enforcement told me that once police start getting in there and they're seeing so many killings and they're seeing so much going on, they really change mentally. They start mentally because of all of the
post-traumatic stress.
disorder.
I spoke to a friend in Columbus that's a captain on a police force, and he wants out. He says, you know, it's gotten to the point, he says he's seen too much death. He said that's not what he signed on for. He said that's not law enforcement.
Yeah.
But you know how this is really going to work? I feel that police academies, they can't come up with the curriculum themselves. They can't do that themselves. If they come up with them, it's kind of like, you know, when your job says, okay, take this sexual harassment course, you sit in there for like 30 minutes and it's a fluff course, and then you just say, all right, whatever. That's what I believe the academy will put out. If you made it a federal regulated, something federally regulated and mandatory for these cops to do, and they have to pass it. Yeah, and they have to pass it. I think that is how you will help really filter that out, because if you left it up to the police stations and the academies, they just gonna pass that shit over, man.
Right. And then they can check off the box.
But that document needs to be created, and that test needs to be created by independent party, a citizen, not someone that has an affiliate with either party.
Correct.
Outside.
Correct.
I agree. Everything needs to be done separate and outside.
Robert says they don't mind sacrificing their own people to pass the law, to pass law, family. You know, this conversation we could talk about for hours on end, and, you know, but we have to keep talking about it because it's happening every day. We're seeing it every day. We're living it every day. We have to find ways to not accept it as our norm. We have to find ways to make changes. I don't think we have the answers to that. We have suggestions for it, but we don't have the answers to it. And it's going to take the multitude of people. It's going to take, like most of us on the panel said, hitting certain people, hitting businesses financially before we are going to see any kind of change being made. So we're going to keep talking about these subjects. We're going to keep talking about Juneteenth. We're going to keep talking about our entrepreneurs. And we're just going to keep saying it here on Dope Living TV Live, because this is what we believe in. And what we believe in, we push. And so I know we're going to have this topic on another day, because it's something that, is near and dear to us. But before we leave, let's just go around the room and starting with you, Marcy, and just get our take on everything.
I'm sorry, my daughter.
I just like to tell everyone, just be mindful of your surroundings. Unfortunately, you need to talk with your children about safety, being away from the home, being home, have like safety drills like that we used to do, the tornado drills and the fire drills. Start doing those things with your children at home and with your family at home. Put safety measures in place. Whereas if your children are, let's say they're in school and you're at home, things, just start talking to your family about things that you have to do and just be mindful of your surroundings. If you see someone in the middle of 90-degree weather in a long coat, winter coat, or something bulky, say something to someone. Get away from them. Say something to someone. If you're in the situation, run. Don't hide under tables or desks or anything of that nature, because that's one of the first things that they come and they start shooting through there. Before, we would be told that hiding under a table or desk or something, but they know the drill. The shooters know the drill. And if you can't run or they get to you, fight for your life.
Marcy, believe it or not, what you just described is in my place of employment, what the responsibilities are for each individual, independent if there's an active shooter. Mm-hmm. So great advice. To our listeners, I'll say 100 times over, thank you for tuning in. This is a great family, great topics. And, you got to think before you make some of these decisions. You got to be responsible and think about these decisions. And you've got to look beyond your current actions and see what these decisions will bring you. If it's not adding value to your life, then it's taken away. Please make sure that, the decisions you make add more than you take. Like I said, thank you.
Coach?
Yeah, I want to speak to what Gina said earlier. It's talking about just a little bit about the multitude. It even saying in scripture, even Christ looked out at the multitude and he was moved with compassion. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, what we see is we see a wave of people in the society being moved with compassion because of the multitude, because of how the multitude is actually reacting to these hateful things that are going on in this world. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, if we all do stand and band together on certain subjects as a people, and I'm not talking, this isn't a race issue now, but I'm talking about Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, everybody. If we all come together, we can actually try to change these laws or actually see something try to get set in place. Nothing has to be set in stone or concrete, but at least we have to come together and make a move so we can actually see the change that we want. If that means my family member doesn't have to die, your child doesn't have to die, your husband, wife, whoever doesn't have to be 6 feet under in a pine box, make it happen,
Again, I'm behind 110% on technology at solving this problem, because again, we can't grandfather the gun because it's been here forever. And the only way we could do is do something with the bullets with technology as far as being traceable. I think that's the way it's going to have to happen. I mean, we have too many firearms under there to say update the technology on those firearms that are out there. So we go to the next thing, bullets. So, and you go to the bullets, that's what we're going to have to do something with the technology, because I'm going to tell you, I don't actually think anything's going to be done with this deal with these last shootings. Just like before, everybody go, oh, ho, and then as soon as the next shiny thing shows up, they'll forget about it. So unfortunately, that's the way it is.
Barbara says, I don't know what world you live in, Kevin, or Kevin stay in, but it's real out here, family. So I guess he's not going to just go to sleep.
That's okay.
But you know what? My comment is, love your family, because the last time you see them may be the last time you see them.
That's right.
Now, that argument that you have with them and you walk out the door, that might be the last conversation you have. We're living in a world where we don't know if our loved ones are going to come back home, even if they go to the grocery store or to the movie theater or to a parade.
To a club.
Or to a club. We don't know.
Yeah.
So don't let the last conversation you have with them be a negative one. Make sure you leave out the door. They leave out the door. You leave out the door. And it's on a positive note. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
You know, to your point too, Gina, I was looking at Facebook and I saw a post where this girl had put a post of her and this guy. And her comment was, we just took this picture 3 weeks ago and now he's gone. All right. So you never know. We could be taking a picture right now. One of us might go. I mean, it's
true.
It's just imperative that we spread love, man. And like Gina said, I don't want the last thing you say to somebody be the last thing that you say to somebody. You don't know what might happen to that person.
Yeah.
That's right.
And what we do here at DopelivenTV Live is to sometimes just open up conversation so you guys can express yourselves, get it off your chest, and then we give you other things that you can get out of reality with, you know, such as the Ron Reed Show, Voices and Opinions. Great show. Y'all check them out Sundays. And just had the premiere of the BGHE Worldwide Music Podcast. Fantastic premiere, okay, and it's going to get better and better and better. And other things that are coming up, all right? So just stay tuned, man, and keep focused. Just stay focused on what you want.
Be aware.
You know what I'm saying? Things are going to happen. It's inevitable. You can't help it. Things are going to happen, all right? But how you roll up out of those things that happen to you defines who you are. All right, this is DopelivenTV Live, okay? You know, the other thing I would say is this too. You always, when you're doing something such as this platform, you're only as strong as the people that you surround yourself with, all right? Y'all look at my team. Done deal. We got muscles, y'all. I'm telling y'all. Beyond what y'all know, okay? We got muscles. And I said it plural. We got muscles. With the little sloppy S, we got muscles. All right.
Oh no!
Watch it now. I saw the pink jump off that shirt.
That's the little. Hey man, look, and you gotta stay hydrated, okay? That's why I was late, man. I was knocked out, okay? The sun came down really hard. I was doing something outside, and next thing I know, I was out.
It was too humid out there.
Out there today, yeah.
I woke up.
Where was y'all at today?
I had a gang of water. I mean, I was hydration. Stay hydrated, y'all, okay? That's all I got. We'll see you guys tomorrow, right?
Peace.
Peace out.